Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I got my hair done yesterday. What do we think? I'm a little blonde. Crazy. I've never been this light before, but I think it's so fun. I hope you are having a wonderful day. Today's video is a fun, laid-back painting session tutorial. I painted these three quick little paintings. These quick little paintings, and I'm going to walk you through how I did them so that you can paint them on your own. And then when you're done, you will have a lovely little set of 3 paintings that you can frame and hang wherever you want. These are Cosmos, Peonies, inspired by peony season. Peony season is passing, but these just bloomed in our yard last week, so they're on their last leg, and in honor of peony season, we painted some peonies, and I painted some zinnias too, which are my favorite. Well, one of my favorites. Peonies and zinnias are 2 of my very favorites. So anyway, if you're new here, welcome back to my channel. If you are, I always mess up. If you're new here, welcome, and if you are just popping in for the first time, I'm Annie, a professional artist. I just started a YouTube channel about a month ago, so like spring of 2024. I've been a professional artist for about 10 years now and made the switch from Instagram to YouTube not that long ago, and I am loving it. I was so excited to start this channel and journey as a new way to share my art with you guys in a bigger way, you know, in a way that feels like I am like not just throwing pictures up on Instagram, but in a way that I can, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, I started this YouTube channel in hopes to inspire you guys to pursue creativity, to teach you everything that I've learned along the way, and to just give you something fun to watch. I don't know. I have lots of reasons for wanting to start this YouTube channel, but I'm about a month in now, and it's been really fun, and I'm really enjoying it, and just want to thank you for being here. So that's today's video. Totally inspired by summer, because summer is here. It's the best time of the year, one of the best. This is a really laid back tutorial, so you don't have to follow it to the T. You can kind of give it your own flair, or you don't. You can follow exactly what I have given you. That's okay too. If you haven't seen my previous tutorials, in order to make the process a little bit easier for you, I always like to include little sketches that you can work off of, because if you're a beginner artist, it can be hard to get past that first sketch phase. So if you are the kind of girl that needs, or guy, I feel like it's mostly women here though. If you're the kind of girl that needs just like a little extra help in the beginning, I did include little sketches that you can get. I'll include the link in the description below, so just check that out. You can download the sketches, and then there'll be line drawings that you can copy or trace right onto your paper. I've had this handmade paper in my studio for like 2 years now, so that's what I'm using today, and I'm using my golden acrylic paints, these here, and I like to keep the palette really limited, so I've used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just 6 colors. Today I used, and I'll leave all of these in the description below and the links to where you can find them if you want to use exactly what I'm using today. So all that's left is to clean your space, set up your space, grab a cup of coffee, and let's paint. First, we're going to paint our peonies, and let's get our paint palette set up with Pyrrole Orange, Ultramarine Blue, Green Gold, Quinacridone Magenta, and Titanium White. I'll leave all these in the description below. We're going to also try out a new medium today. It's Golden's Retarder. That is what's going to help slow the dry time so we can blend better, and it also helps the paint go on a little more smoothly, which is super nice when working with acrylics. We're using a 1/2-inch filbert brush, and we are going to start out with a Pyrrole Orange and Quinacridone Magenta mix, and mix that medium right in with the paint. And you want to mix enough to the point that you feel like the paint is gliding smoothly on your paper. And you can follow my brush strokes here I am starting away from the center of the flower and then moving my way down to the center. And then for the bottom petals, I'm starting away from the center and working my way up, if that makes sense. So I do the same thing and I'll work my way around the painting. So we're gonna do a flower in the center there with the same brush strokes that we did with the first flower. And then I'm gonna do one more flower in the corner, and this one's gonna be more of like, you know, when peonies bloom and they're a little more open, that's what that one is. And then this first layer, that first layer there, you want to make sure it has, I put more medium in there in those first layers, so it's okay if it's translucent. I actually prefer that those first layers are a little more translucent. And then we just work our way up by adding white into our original color mix and go over top of our brush strokes to bring out the dimension of our petals. And if you want, you can also add some green gold as you go as well, and that will help keep the color feeling vibrant and not so flat. So you can add white and green gold, but be careful with the green gold because it can get real bright and like really yellow, and which can be fun. So play around. You can totally experiment as you want. So we're just gonna go in and keep adding white and doing the same, it's the same steps with all three flowers. So adding white and doing those same brush strokes, we're working our way down to the center. We're working away from the flower, or working away from the center up towards the center of the flower. The thing with acrylic paints is the texture of the paint allows you to really let the brush and the paint do the work for you. So next we're going to move on to some leaves. We're using the 1/2 inch flat angled brush, and you can find that in the description below. So we're going to work on the leaves here, and I used green gold and quinacridone magenta to mix that up, and I'm going to use the edge of the brush to make our stems. And that's, I love this brush, this flat angled brush, because it's so versatile in what you can use it for. You can get really wide brush strokes, but you can also get some really fine line details and get in the corners, and it's just really versatile. I love it. So again, with the first layer of the flowers, similar to the first layer of the flowers, we are mixing this first layer of the leaves. We're mixing it so that it has a little bit more of that medium in it, so that the paint glides really nicely on the paper. And then we're gonna work our way up with those layers. That's the beautiful thing about acrylic paint. I love that you can just add layers and layers and layers, and gives it a lot of really pretty dimension. And so as I work up with the layers, I'm gonna add white, but I'm also, in this painting, I added a little bit of ultramarine blue to darken that color up a little bit, and really just gonna work my way around. It's really, this is a simple, just for fun painting, so be loose with it, be light with your hand, just kind of let the paint flow throughout the painting. And now we're just gonna go in with into the leaves. If you go a little too blue with your green, you can add a little bit more of that magenta. If it's a little too red, just add a little more green gold or blue. You can play around with the color mixes. Again, like I said, you can follow this tutorial to a T, or you can kind of play around and do your own thing. I am finishing up this painting here with going around and finishing up all the little details, and I am using a smaller brush now. It is, I believe it's a 1/4 inch flat brush, and that will be listed for you in the description below. I know I've said that already, but just a reminder. So This brush is really nice for adding in all of the final details. And to add the final details in the painting, I just add white to my already mixed colors and go around the painting to add those final highlights and just play around and add in those highlights to see where, and add the highlights where I feel like the painting needs it. Usually, you know, we think about where the light source is, and so the highlights are going to be at the tops of the petals. They're going to be in all of those types of areas in our painting. And also just to break up any places that are feeling a little flat. So we want to add variety in our values, and that is going to help bring contrast into the painting, which always helps a painting feel more interesting and less flat, you know? So anyway, that is how I painted my peonies. So I hope you enjoyed the process, and I'm finishing up here, so I'll just let you watch and enjoy the rest of the painting. Just kidding, I'm back. I forgot that I added another color. We mixed up some pyrrole orange and green gold to mix up the color for the center of the peonies. So that's where that color is going. Just go with a little bit of pyrrole orange, a little bit of green gold. Use the tip of your brush to add in little itty bitty details to the center of your peony. And also I've used that mix to go in with the leaves too, just because that's fun. So I'm going in with the yellow around the painting. I also went a little bit on the petals of the peonies, but real light, just a little hint of the mustard yellow. And I think we're just about done here, but I don't know if you guys can tell, but voiceovers are something that I am learning to get better at, and sometimes it's really hard. Sometimes it's hard to talk through a video because I feel like I could say the same thing over and over again, but you know, it is what it is. I feel like if it's gonna be perfect, then I would be sitting here recording it all day long, and that would be insane because I'm a busy girl. Anyway, I am finishing up this painting now with the final details, so cue the music. And there we go. What do you think? I hope you guys like it. I think that was a really fun, quick little painting. So summer. I love it. The peonies are my favorite. So moving on to the next painting. Next is Cosmos. So this is really fun. I don't think I've ever talked about this before, but this is my fun little box of reference photos. I am a photographer and I just love taking pictures, and I have a gazillion pictures and I print my favorite ones out. So I went to my little box to get my pictures out for Cosmos. Cosmos are a really simple flower. They're pretty straightforward. Okay, so this color mix here is for, what are we mixing? We're going to start with the white Cosmo and the shadows of the white Cosmo. And we are going to mix a tan or beige type color, maybe grayish. We're going to use pyrrole orange, a little bit of ultramarine blue, a little bit of quinacridone magenta. And if it's too orange, add more blue. And if it's too green, add more magenta. And I needed to switch it up here. So, oh, again, don't forget to add the matte medium to your mix here. So these are the shadows of the Cosmo, the white Cosmo. So I didn't want it to be too dark, especially for the vibe of this painting. I want it to be light and airy and bright and colorful. So the shadows don't need to be too dark. They just need to be just dark enough so that they add contrast, because that is what we want when we're painting white flowers, because sometimes if you just do, not sometimes, all the time, if you just paint white or white flowers on a painting like this, they will fall very flat. So next we're going to use some more of that color, and we are going to use that to paint the centers of the remaining cosmos. So there's some in the corners. We have 1, 2, 3, 5 cosmos in this painting, just like you see here. And I didn't do a sketch in this painting, but if you are following along without the sketch, that works too. But if you are following along with the sketch, you will see on your sketch these little yellow dots here are for the centers of those corner flowers and that one main white cosmo that we have in the center. So we are just going to work off of that original color mix and add white and build up our layers just like that, and work our way around, and just with quick short brush strokes. Oh, we're using the filbert brush for the beginning of this painting, the 1/2-inch filbert brush, and we will switch over, but not yet. The filbert brush is really great for laying down those first initial layers. Next, we're gonna work on those magenta or those pink cosmos. And I love this color, it's so bright. It was a little bit of pyrrole orange with quinacridone magenta, and it's so bright and so happy and so colorful. How fun is that? So we're gonna start away from the center and then move our brush towards the center. Just quick, easy, simple brush strokes, just like that. And we're gonna do the same thing with the other flowers and work our way around the painting. This is just a really quick, easy, beginner-friendly painting. Keep it simple. Don't overthink anything. Just a big thing with brushes and acrylic paints. You want to let the paint and the brush do some of the work for you. So that's what we're doing here. Just kind of let the paint glide on paper and let the brush do its thing. All right. Moving on, get that brush nice and clean, add some white, a little bit of green gold as we brighten that color up. Sometimes white can tone it down and take away its vibrancy. So we're just gonna look at our pictures, our reference photos here, and adding some midtones to the flowers, and gonna do that with the other 2 flowers as well. At this point, I'm just gonna be adding white and going lighter and lighter and lighter. Oh my gosh. Whole section of my video did get cut out, and I'm really bummed about that. But at this point, I don't know what happened, but the whole middle section here got cut out. So what you missed was I took my smaller angled brush, mixed up a green with green gold and a little bit of quinacridone magenta with a little bit of blue, and put in the leaves there. Really quick, easy brush strokes. And I also added those little baby flowers, and that's what you missed. So I am so sorry about that I did not include that in this video, but it was a pretty simple step. So if you need to, pause the video, add those in, and then now we're gonna move forward. And I mixed up some green gold with some white and went into the center of the cosmo, all the cosmos, and brought out some more detail with the center, because you know how the center of cosmos are very bright and almost exactly like that color, like almost exactly what green gold and with a little bit of white mixes up a perfect color for the center of a Cosmo. So just working in the centers there, adding some depth and mixing up some really fun, vibrant colors. And at this point in the painting, I'm on those final finishing touches. I kind of just wing it and fill in those areas that are feeling a little empty. There we have it, all done. Oh my gosh, just kidding. We're not done yet. Gonna add some sweet little yellow flowers to fill in some blank spaces and finalize the painting and balance it all out, because adding these little flowers adds, not just balances the painting out, but adds some variety in the painting. So that mustard yellow is green gold and quinacridone magenta. You can also, if it's too warm or too orange, you can always add ultramarine blue to it as well. And to build up layers on those flowers, just add white to that color mix and go over top. Just like this. So yeah, there we go. I think we're done for real this time. So this was the first one that I did, where I was kind of just playing around. Sometimes my camera doesn't focus. There we go. I was just playing around, and then that first painting inspired this one. So they're a little different, but same vibe, same feel. I love both. I think that's so fun. First one was 5x7. Second one I think was 6x9. No, maybe 6x8. I can't remember. You can do whatever size you want. That's the beauty of these tutorials. Totally flexible. You can do whatever you want. And this is what we're working on next. So let's paint some zinnias. Another one of my favorite summer flowers. All right, my studio got a little dark here, so I will try to edit that and make it a little brighter, but if my editing skills fail, that's why it's a little dark. So we're gonna start out with that same mix as we did with the peonies. We're gonna use quinacridone magenta and pyrrole orange. Mix that up, add some matte medium, and we're gonna, zinnias have a gazillion itty bitty petals. We're using our 1/2 inch velvet brush here, and you really want to make sure that you have a lot of that medium. Again, I know I've said that before, but you want to have a lot of the matte medium on those first layers, just because it helps your paint glide really nicely on the paper or canvas or whatever you're working on. We're going to take the paint and do short little brush strokes just like this, and you can leave some of the white showing. That's what I did. See, love that. I think it adds really nice texture. And I did this ooh, excuse me. So this painting is the colors that I did are a little bit different than the reference photo. Your girl needs some water, my goodness. Okay, I'm back. The painting and the colors that I'm using here are slightly different than what I painted the first time around. The first time around was a little too orange for what I wanted, so I went with more of like those really fun coral, just like brighter zinnias this time around. It's really short, quick, easy, simple. Don't overthink it. Those types of brush strokes, the kind short, quick. The key is really just keep on using those short, quick brush strokes for these zinnias, because they have all those little petals. And we're going to do the same thing. One more zinnia on the bottom here. And with this painting, we had some that were kind of more straight on, some that were from the side view. And this one here, you can tell it has where the perspective of the flower, we're looking at it more from the side, so it's going to be a longer oval type shape. That makes sense. And then you can go in, and with the color, there was a little bit of green gold. It was like a mustard yellow, so green gold, quinacridone magenta, and fill in the centers of those zinnias, because zinnias have a yellow center, and we're going to use that as the center and then brighten it up later. And while we're at it, you can use that same mustard yellow. Well, here I did make it a little orange, so it's not quite mustard yellow, it's a very deep vibrant orange, and mix that around your flowers just to add some more depth to those little petals. All right, clean off the brush. And next we're gonna do some green. We're gonna add some green gold, some quinacridone magenta, little pyrrole orange, some matte medium. We're gonna work on the leaves. And you can follow along with your sketch, or you can follow along with what I'm doing here, but that's what we're working on next. We're gonna use the 1/2 inch flat brush, or the smaller, either 1/2 inch flat brush or the 1/4 inch. Either one would work. The larger brush will just give you larger leaves. For this part though, and with smaller paintings, I do prefer the smaller angled flat brush. It allows you to get finer details, which is nice. So we're gonna go around, we'll work through adding the leaves with that dark green. Make sure you have lots of matte medium in your mix there, and especially this handmade paper, not only does it have a rougher texture, but it tends to soak up the paint pretty quickly. So having that medium mixed in with your paint really helps with those clean, smooth brush strokes. Next, we're going to mix up a mustard yellow, just like we did before, some pyrrole orange, green gold. You can play around with it till you get the color that you like. We're going to use our smaller angled flat brush, make some little itty bitty yellow flowers, just like as a fun little filler flower. They're not any particular specific flower, just a fun little whimsical filler flower for our zinnia painting. I love yellow. I don't know if you could tell, but I use mustard yellow in a lot of my paintings. A lot. I love it. It's one of my favorites. So we're just gonna go in and use that mustard yellow to add those little baby flowers. We're gonna add some more work on the centers of our zinnias here, and add some white and start building up those highlights. So I'm using that white to work in the highlights of the centers of the zinnias, but also bring out some depth in those little itty bitty baby yellow flowers. Next, we're going to mix up a green. and we're gonna do a dark green, and these are gonna be the little leaves on the stems of these little baby yellow flowers that we just painted. So we're gonna use green gold, quinacridone magenta, a little bit of ultramarine blue, and play around with it until you get it the way that you like. And I do have white in this mix, so we're just gonna do a green and go in with short little brush strokes, kind of like an almond shape, but we're using our flat angled brush to make those quick, easy leaf shapes for our yellow flowers. And just gonna work my way around the composition, add them to the little yellow bunches where they're on the painting. And also, you don't have to just add them with the yellow flowers. At this point in the painting, I'll add these little filler leaves where I feel like things are feeling empty. So I'm just gonna go in and kind of start filling in the composition with these little filler leaves. So here I'll do a close-up for you so you can see the detail of where I'm at with this painting so far. And it's definitely different than my first painting that I did. You can see the colors are definitely different. And I went a little bigger this second time, so has a little more blank space, which I actually really like. I think it has like a different vibe to it, and I think that's fun. So to finish up the painting, we're gonna go in and add some midtones, highlights, fine tune some areas. I went in with that mustard yellow and adding that into some of the little petals of the zinnias into the little like individual petals, and just doing that with one quick swoop of a brush stroke. And that's really it. I'm not doing anything fancy, no fancy techniques, just quick little brush strokes. That's it. The thing about the style of these paintings is there's a lot of room for you guys to add your own flair, add your own spin, play around with colors. It's a really open-ended tutorial and a starting point and a guide to walk you through a really laid back afternoon of painting. And I hope that's what this was for you, because these are the types of paintings that I do when I just want to do something light and be creative, and that is exactly what these paintings are. So I hope you loved it, and I hope you enjoyed following along and paint or just watching. I'm finished here, so there's the first one, and here is our second one. I love zinnias. I think they're such a sweet, they remind me of fireworks. I feel like they have always reminded me of fireworks, and I just love them. They're so fun and colorful and happy, and summer's the best. So cheers to summer, guys. I hope you're having the best kickoff to summer, and I hope you enjoyed these flowers, and I hope you're feeling inspired. And I hope that you loved this video, and thank you. If you made it this far, you're incredible, and I just am so thankful for you for being here. And I hope you enjoy painting these yourselves, and if you haven't already, go ahead and like and subscribe. It would mean the world to me. And leave a comment below if you have any questions. And I hope you love the video. Until next time, bye guys.